This is the eLearn podcast. If you're passionate about the future of learning, you're in the right place. The expert guests on this show provide insights into the latest strategies, practices, and technologies for creating killer online learning outcomes. My name's Ladek, and I'm your host from OpenLMS. The eLearn podcast is sponsored by eLearn Magazine, your go-to resource for all things online learning. Click-by-click how-to articles, the latest in EdTech, a spotlight on successful outcomes and trends in the marketplace. Subscribe today and never miss a post at elearnmagazine.com. And OpenLMS, a company leveraging open source software to deliver a highly effective, customized, and engaging learning experience for schools, universities, companies, and governments around the world since 2005. Learn more at openlms.net. Hi there, I'm Ladek. This episode is part of a live, real-time series that I recorded at the 2022 EDUCAUSE conference in Denver, Colorado. In this conversation, I speak with Kim Oppelt about how the company Class is completely rethinking the asynchronous online class experience. And just a quick reminder, you can make sure to never miss an episode of the podcast by subscribing at elearnmagazine.com. Now, I give you Kim Oppelt.
I love that. If we wanted to, we could have like 1 billion people watching us right now.
We could.
So don't
We
knock
probably
me.
do.
No, I think we have 0. But now we're live. Hey, so hi, I'm Ladek. We are coming to you actually truly live from the EDUCAUSE conference in Denver, Colorado right now. There's a lot of debate about whether or not Denver's the place to be. I, as a Coloradoan, say it is. I don't know. Kim feels differently. No, I'm just playing.
You do love Denver. Do love it.
But we're going to be broadcasting all day today. I think we have 9 different people that we're going to talk to about equity, about learning pathways, about digital inclusion, about so many different things. But right now, Kim Oppelt, Dr. Kim Oppelt?
Oppelt, yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oppelt, I apologize.
It's okay.
Why don't you take a few seconds to introduce yourself? Like, you're with Class, but
I'm with Kim. Yep, I'm with Class. I am actually, though, an educator at heart. So I started my career out as a licensed school counselor. Did a lot of work in underserved populations, and then went to college counseling, where I started using some software and getting into EdTech. So I used that kind of passion for college and career readiness to go into a life of EdTech, and have been studying all things college, career, and life readiness, and all about what students need to succeed, not only in middle school and high school, but all through college, if that's the pathway they choose, but then, kind of reverse mapping it to what do they need to get to the career of their interest. So, awesome. Yeah, so I've been, I think, in EdTech now for 12 years, and
before anybody knew what EdTech was, I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
I was a remote employee before working remote with school.
Yeah, 100%.
and it's all things have led to working at Class, which is a virtual technology or virtual classroom technology.
Yeah. So the word I want to talk about for like 5 minutes here, like 2 minutes. Yeah. We all have talked about distance learning and online learning, and then there's in-class learning. But then I thought the word of the new normal was hybrid, but now you're throwing Hyflex at me. Yeah. So juxtapose Hyflex with hybrid for me, just so that we're on the same page.
Right.
About that.
Yeah. So hybrid is having students learn in class and online at the same time, synchronous learning. Hyflex is allowing students really to pick their modality. So whether they want to learn online, in class, synchronous or asynchronously, they then get to choose that by day. So really, It's not one class that's all online asynchronously. It's a class that's built for students in the way that they want to learn when they want to learn. So
is that fair? I mean, I mean that in a it's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's also, I mean, if I'm a professor right now, which I am, I teach at American University. That's a lot of responsibility and a lot of who manages that? Like who's how do you serve those 3 needs at the same time?
Absolutely. So I think we've seen a lot emerge over the past even 2 years. I think Hyflex was in the making before that, but over the past 2 to 3 years, we've really seen we've seen campuses innovate. So they built teams of staff just around online, hybrid, and Hyflex learning. There are product experts. There are IT professionals. There are content experts and evaluators, and everyone comes together to create a class that really works. And it's not all on the professor's shoulders. So we're seeing. I was talking with Dr. Rasmussen Day from Austin Community College yesterday, he was telling me about all of the tools that they put into what happens to make an online or hybrid or Hyflex class work. So it's allowing professors to just step in and use a template if they want to, or they can get highly involved in their own design. So,
but are those So are those professors? We were talking with somebody yesterday whose name is escaping me right now. We'll come back to it. But one of the things they discovered was, holy smokes! Now I actually have to train professors on this new suite of technology. Have you found through class or either through some of your other conversations that the new weightlifting around new technologies in this kind of suite are professors excited about that? Are we seeing attrition? Are we seeing new blood coming in and be like, oh yeah, finally, what's the sentiment?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think over when we moved to emergency remote learning, there was a competency threshold that was overcome. I think we have professors, we have faculty, we have staff that are a lot more competent with technology than they ever were before. So they're more willing. I think that though, there's still a need for people to be in person, right? There are still professors, there are still courses that are taking place, a number of courses that are taking place in person. Right. But being online and having fully remote courses also allows colleges, universities, community colleges to expand their base. So they can hire people who are extremely competent in teaching online or teaching in a high-class situation. So you can find those willing people that are willing to, that are excited, that are going to put together courses that are engaging and accommodating for those students who want to learn remotely, or there are some that just won't ever adapt to it, and that's okay too.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So take a few seconds for those people who haven't heard of class. Yeah. What is it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen it. I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We're actually a partner. We're a partner organization. Yeah. But for anybody who hasn't heard of it, where did it come from? What was its genesis? What problem does it solve?
Yeah. So class is a pandemic baby.
Oh, nice. I feel like there was just article that was just published about like the baby bump of the pandemic. Yeah. They didn't think was going to happen, but now it's happened.
Yep, exactly. So we are a true technology pandemic baby. Nice. And our CEO and co-founder, Michael Jason, he had some kids that had just moved to emergency remote learning, and they were just learning then on a video conference. So it was very one-dimensional, not exciting, not engaging. And he looked at it and said, "It's better." So he had, the knowledge and the tools and the team to pull together to build a virtual classroom on top of Zoom that allows students and staff to really make an engaging experience. So a virtual classroom that has tools built in to make learning interactive, to make learning fun, to make it personal, and to allow a lot of what is done in the physical classroom, in the physical, just the college realm even, so support and student services and tutoring and all of those things, to happen in a setting that makes it a lot easier and user-friendly.
Awesome. And I apologize. It sounds like there may be a train coming into the conference hall right now. We'll see, but there's something happening over there. So when I think of, I think it literally is a train. Oh, well. I've seen class. For somebody who hasn't seen class and we're thinking about a virtual classroom, you've already mentioned the word Zoom, so I actually feel like people have a physical reaction to Zoom sometimes. Break that down for me, because when I saw it, I actually was trying to disabuse Ed Miller, and I said, don't stop this, because it's not Zoom. It doesn't look like Zoom at all to me. So what's the virtual classroom?
Well, the nice thing about being built on Zoom is that there's that infrastructure there, so we were able to use that great base that Zoom has built. But then make it really, usable for a classroom. So we use Zoom every day in our work settings, but there's room for improvement when it comes to just having
a learning experience.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a whiteboard that we can use to collaborate. We can do breakout rooms that professors can that professor can deploy and break students out, and then share different resources for breakout room. They can also oversee every breakout room and pop in when they.
This is what I want to emphasize this because honestly, again, as a professor, this is one of the coolest features that they built, that classes built, in that when you do breakout rooms, rather than having to like hop in and out, and you don't really know, like you can actually see what's happening inside each breakout room. You can send videos, presentations, questions to different breakout rooms, you know, concurrently and in parallel. That's the single coolest feature.
Absolutely, you can see. You know, you never know what happens as a professor. What's happening in those breakout rooms once you put students in there? Are they talking about what you want them to talk about? Are they talking at all? So you can peek in. You can have a high level view and peek in on what's happening in all 6 or 10 breakout rooms. And if someone looks like they're struggling a little bit, you can pop in there, or you can chat to those breakout rooms, give them some extra supports if they need it, and just see what's happening. So I love those breakout rooms. Yeah.
Something else for someone who's never seen it, I'd love for you to emphasize or talk about is the fact that you never leave the classroom when you're giving a presentation or when you're doing a video. Like, talk to me about that, like that native experience.
Absolutely. So one of the other features and something that we use actually in our own work is to deploy websites. So we can open an LMS, or we can open a Google Doc, a shared Google Doc, and people can sign into their own website and interact with that website right within the class application. So they don't have to ever leave or click away from class, and they can interact the whole time there. You can do tests, you can do polls, you can, like I said, whiteboards, so share documents, play videos. So almost anything you need to do or share with students, you don't have to send a link. You just pop the link up and they can interact with it right within.
Does this work? Or have you seen? Are people using it in a corporate space as well as like a higher education space? What's been the reaction in those two? Like, I don't know. We always we always seem to divide these two, like as if they're like different creatures entirely. But what's the difference in what maybe the different reactions, or what are people finding valuable for us?
Absolutely, yeah. And being at EDUCAUSE, I'm definitely speaking in terms of students, but corporate training development. Class for work is really a big emerging field for us right now. With the remote working population increasing and really staying stable, we're not seeing a lot of big migration back to the workplace. We see a lot of remote work happening still. So it's really easy to onboard people, to do training sessions, to do even just work meetings with all of the tools that you need in a virtual classroom. So we're finding that businesses, big and small, are utilizing these technologies, especially in human resources, in training, in development, in settings, and even just, like I said, in their day-to-day meetings. So all of those collaborative tools are necessary.
Has the term Hyflex creeped into? I kind of feel like it is really applicable to the worker space as well, rather than. What's the word I'm looking for? Rather than debating or getting into arguments about remote work, like has that creeped in?
Yeah, I think people are finding new ways to work now that more and more people are remote.
Hey, I live in Mexico City. I'm here to tell you, people have found different ways to work. Okay, like the digital nomad universe is
absolutely, and I think it's different cultures in different teams and in different businesses, but there are a lot of ways that people collaborate and have learned to communicate and work together, and you have to learn your strengths when it comes to remote work and what motivates you and what really produces. So yeah, I think a Hyflex setting in a work environment is emerging, even if we don't call it that.
So talk to me about challenges. It's easy to, we're both fangirls of Hyflex learning, of being able to do things synchronously online, whatnot. What are still the deepest challenges that you're experiencing through class, or you've heard people talking like from the community college perspective, or even the traditional university college perspective?
I think it's still new.
For some reason, it goes on mute. Chris, I'm going to ask the question again.
Do it.
Oh, just a few seconds. All right, cool. So we were talking about the biggest challenges
of that you're still experiencing? You're saying what's new, basically.
We've been meeting with institutions, obviously all week, and a common theme is where do we start? What do we do? If we want to get involved in Hyflex hybrid learning, we've been doing it a little bit, but we really feel like it could expand our enrollment, our retention, our course completion, graduation rates. So how do we get started, and what technology do we invest in? And I think just even being here and talking with others and learning from other institutions, and even just the little pieces that they're doing, and creating rooms on campus that are interactive and have video screens, and how do you set up a classroom for hybrid settings. And so I think as more and more people continue to do that, we're going to see more best practices emerge. We're going to see the data come out of it. So it's so new right now that it's a lot of trial and error, and we just need people who are innovative and excited and willing to jump in, and we'll be able to keep going on that bandwagon and continue to iterate on this technology.
Have you seen any applications? This is something I find for me, if I'm a university or I'm a dean or a provost right now, I'm thinking, how do I use this to my advantage in the recruiting space?
Mm-hmm.
Have you started to see that with your contacts with the people? Where really, it's like you kind of sell the higher ed experience differently. What have you seen so far?
Absolutely. So very timely. EDUCAUSE just came out with a study on modality preferences. So
That's right. This is like 2 weeks ago.
Yep, exactly. So they asked students how do you want to learn most? Do you want to learn all in the classroom? Do you want to learn partially in the classroom and online? What they saw was that the number of students who want to learn either fully online or mostly online increased by 20%.
Wow.
So I think we're at almost 30% of students who want to learn mostly or all online. So
and so now, one would assume that would be a non-traditional student, what we would call a non-traditional student, lifelong learner, an adult learner, someone with kids, someone with a job. But is that also the 18, 19-year-old who's like, look, bro, I've got my gaming side hustle, I've got my thing, and I just want to
and people want to maybe jump into the workforce earlier, or they want to live in Mexico City and learn remotely.
Another plug for my hashtag Mexico
live
City.
in Denver. But they don't. There are options, and the traditional learning situations and spaces are not here anymore. We have a group of students who has learned remotely for a year to 2 years, and some found out that they really thrived and liked it that way. And now as colleges, as institutions that that are not known for their pivoting and change, are actually going to have to pivot and change and completely change their mindset on this. So it's going to be interesting, but there are so many opportunities when it comes to enrollment, because not only for the small regional college, they don't have to just recruit out of their own backyard. They can recruit across the world.
Okay, so I'm glad you went there, because this is where for me, it seems to change the dynamic as well as kind of like the a la carte higher ed experience, or like the leveling up experience, going from like that community, and I don't mean this in any disparaging way, but you go from the community college maybe to the local university to a regional kind of powerhouse. Like, do you see that? Is that a vision that is happening more and more? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we'll have to look at cost. If cost is an issue for students and they're learning online, then a community college is a great place to learn. And if a regional 4-year has some unique programs, then a student's going to gravitate toward that too online. So it's going to be, everyone's going to have to find their niche, and they're going to have to promote it, and they're going to have to really work with students and understand what they want and who they want. And I mean, then the world is their oyster, really. So whoever does it well is going to strike gold.
That's fantastic. So, I've taken up so much of your time here. I'll give you back to the crowds here. But final question is, as someone who's now working for class, what are you most excited about over the next, let's say 6 to 12 months? Is there a new feature that's coming out, or are there some new partnerships? Is it, I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. So what I'm mostly looking forward to with class is just, the data. So we have so many clients coming on. We have so many diverse institutions coming together with so many other partnerships that I'm excited to see all of the data merge. I'm excited to see the students use this. And then I'm excited to see what the outcomes are and how, using a virtual classroom and really engaging students and measuring engagement is going to change the game for online.
Jim, from class, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to speak with me. I guess your presentations are over, right?
They are, yes. Yeah.
But I wish you the best, and I hope we'll be able to talk again in the near future.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again for joining me for the eLearn podcast. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. Just push subscribe on your player right now. And remember, you can join the conversation live on YouTube, Facebook, and my LinkedIn feed every week. I hope to see you there. Thanks.